Mabuhay everyone! I am Jezebel Bautista from Antonio J. Villegas Vocational High School and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, I am going to discuss about factors of polynomials, specifically factoring a perfect square trinomial. Our objectives are recall the concept of a perfect square, identify a perfect square trinomial, and use MBM methodology to factor a perfect square trinomial. Let's have a review first. What is the square of a number? So the square of a number is the number times or multiply itself. How can you tell if it is a perfect square trinomial? So the first and the last term are perfect square. The middle term is twice the product of the first and the last term. So you have to remember that always. So this is how a perfect square trinomial looks like. Okay, take note. A plus B is a binomial, and if you square this binomial, the result is a perfect square trinomial. So A squared, a square of the first term of a binomial, plus 2AB is twice the product of the binomial's first and last terms, plus B squared is a square of the last term of a binomial. So again, this is a perfect square trinomial. So this is how it looks like. Activity 1. Let us look for the different perfect square trinomials found in the box. Answers might be in diagonal, horizontal, or vertical in form. So you can pause the video to answer this activity. And these are the answers. Also, you can pause the video to check your answers. Okay, so remember, you can use the following relationships or pattern to factor a perfect square trinomial. Okay, so the first pattern is look if the trinomial, the sign in our trinomial are all positive, so you're going to use a positive sign also. Then, if the sign in your trinomial is negative, then you're going to use the negative sign also. So remember to factor out first the greatest common monomial factor before factoring the perfect square trinomial. Okay, let's begin. Let's factor n squared plus 16n plus 64. So let's use the multi-breaker map. Okay, get the square root of the first term. So the first term is n squared. So the square root is n. Then, get the square root of the last term. So our last term is 64. The square root is 8. So check if the middle term is twice the product of the first and the last. Our first is n multiplied by 8, then twice. So the result is 16n, which is correct. Then if the three verifications are satisfied, then it is a perfect square trinomial. So you add the factor of the first and the last term. Since our trinomial uses a positive sign, so we have n plus 8 quantity squared is our answer. So that is the factor for number 1. Okay, number 2, let us factor 4r squared minus 12r plus 9. So first, get the square root of the first term. So 4r squared, the square root is 2r. Get the square root of the last term. The square root of 9 is 3. Then check if the middle term is twice the product of the first and the last. So you have 2r times 3 times 2, it is equal to 12r. So correct. So if the three verifications are satisfied, then it is a perfect square trinomial. Then you subtract the factor of the first and the last term. Why? Because look, our trinomial is in negative sign. So you have to use negative sign or subtract. So 2r minus 3 quantity squared is the factor of 4r squared minus 12r plus 9. So again 2r minus 3 quantity squared is our answer. Okay, number 3. Let us factor 75 t cubed plus 30t squared plus 3t. So observe, so this is not yet a perfect square trinomial. So let us first find the common monomial factor, which is equal to 3. So divide by 3t. So the result is 25t squared plus 10t plus 1. So let's verify if it is a perfect square trinomial. So let us square the first term. So the square of 25t squared is 5t. Then get the square root of the last term. So the square root of 1 is also 1. So check if the middle term is twice the product of the first and the last. So 5t times 1 times 2 is 10t, which is correct. So if the three verifications are satisfied, then it is a perfect square trinomial. Then add the factor of the first and the last term, then squared. So 5t plus 1 quantity squared. So we use the positive sign since our trinomial is in positive sign. But this is not yet the answer because remember we divide it by 3t. So you multiply by 3t. So our final answer is 3t multiplied by 5t plus 1 quantity squared. This is our factor now. Okay, so for activity 2, this will be your assignment. And thank you. Mabuhay. Together, we can learn as one. And don't forget to subscribe my channel. Bye!